Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Process, where we talk about the process of, going through entrepreneurship. This episode is on 2 personal overlooked factors that determine how you maneuver in business. Number 1, by the way, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And click the link below to look at some of our interviews, the playlist with our interviews. Anyways, number 1, your personality type, right? Whether you are an introvert or extrovert, that plays a very big role in how you maneuver with business, right? The reason being is that business requires people, having a network, having a mastermind, going out there, selling, putting your product in the face of others, right? And from my own personal experience, as a natural introvert, that was one of the hardest things I had to learn how to do. I cannot explain to you how much anxiety I had with trying to speak to people, trying to introduce my product to people, and even just getting out there. As an introvert, I used to overthink everything, like a lot, to the point that I became very stagnant, where even when I saw a potential opportunity that could have possibly made me a sale, I overthought it out of fear. So as an introvert, if you are an introvert, just know that that's a big mental barrier that you're going to have to overcome. And of course, there's books that you can read to help you overcome that. I'll make another video on that, and I have some tips and tricks that work for introverts but also extroverts. The second personality type is being an extrovert. If you're an extrovert, most likely you'll have a better time in business because you are not afraid to go out there and get to know people. And if you're a people person and you know how to talk to people, right? Those things play a role in helping somebody with their business. So what a lot of people don't realize when they're starting a business, or they're wondering why a business isn't working out for them, right? Their personality type plays a very big role. And for me, what I've learned as an introvert is how to be extroverted, but also how to maneuver with people in ways where I feel comfortable. The second factor, aside from your personality type, is your support system. And there's 3 parts to the support system. Do you have the emotional support? Do you have the financial support? And do you have the security, physical support, like you have a place to rest your head and sleep at night, right? And your basic needs. A lot of times people overlook these things because they don't realize that there's many people who we look up to in business who are very successful, right? But very few didn't have one of those 3. Some of them had all 3, right? And you have to realize that if you, let's say, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, because this is where you, I don't know, wish I had a paper or pencil. Like, you would take introvert, you would take extrovert, right? Then you would take support, and you would take, emotional, financial, security, and connect the dots to see what you have, which will determine how you maneuver. The reason why is because if you have emotional support, that's perfect, because business is stressful. Business will have you feeling all sorts of different ways. So if you have family members, a spouse, or somebody who is supporting you emotionally, that takes a lot off your shoulders and your mind. That helps you, keep on pushing forward. If you have financial support, then while you test and go out there, at least you have someone that can supply you with money to keep on trying until you start seeing a return on investment or profit, or you borrow money from them or something. Lastly, if you have a place to sleep, you have your basic needs, then you don't have to be worried about how to make ends meet, and it allows you more time to focus on the business at hand, or the idea or the vision you have. So Many people don't factor those things in. What's your personality type? What's your support system? And there's so many like different motivational speakers, life coaches, right? They talk about all these different various factors that play a role in business, which are all true and they're correct, but they never really talk about the personality type or your support system. They'll give you, verbatim general stuff like, you gotta push forward, overcome your fears, defy the odds, things that are motivational and are true. But from a realistic standpoint, from a self-awareness standpoint, you have to know who you are as a person, and you have to know what you have in terms of support. Because when you start to make decisions and you don't factor those two things in, sometimes, even from my personal self, you make a decision that causes you to crash and burn. A lot of times people say, just take that leap of faith, and when your back's against the wall, that's when you'll really push to make things happen. And I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of people who take that leap of faith, they crash and they burn, right? And sometimes they stay down. There's a lot of people whose back's against the wall, and even when their back's against the wall, it doesn't cause them to just, make things happen. So, who are you as a person? Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? As an introvert, there's ways to overcome that. I've been able to overcome my introvertness by learning how to network, learning how to add value to people, right? Of course, I choose a lot of people off intuition. That's a whole other different story. And so it's like, meet people I can resonate with. As an extrovert, you possibly have the ability to go out there, make those sales happen. So some things just naturally come to you to make business go, right? Once you figure that out, think about your support system. Do you have the emotional support or not? Do you have the financial support or not? Do you have the physical security or not? Some people can have all three. Some people can only have two. Some people can only have one. Based on the one you have, then you make contextual self-awareness judgment on how should I make certain decisions with business. For example, if you don't have emotional support, right, and you feel yourself, being stressed out or, anxiety or depression, then you have to put in some self-care practices to get your mind. I always talk about gratitude. If you have the financial support, then you can take some bolder moves in terms of testing and marketing, right? Because a lot of people, they don't have the financial support and they probably will run out of money as they're going into business before they even start making some profit and just basically breaking even. If you have the security, basic needs, right? If that's taken care of, then you don't have to worry about what you're gonna eat, what you're gonna drink, where you're gonna shower, how much rent is gonna be, and that allows you more time to think about what you need to work on in terms of business. So overall, a lot of people overlook these two factors, and they're so important. I know this personally, since doing business from 2015 to now, that as an introvert who only really had security, so I didn't have emotional support, I didn't really have financial support, but I had security because I lived in my parents' basement, well, first upstairs, now the basement, right? Being an introvert and having that, it gave me time to at least grow as a person, right? Because I'm not thinking about where I'm going to rest my head. However, at the same time, there are times where I lost my cool emotionally, got completely depressed, sometimes got complete anxiety, and made some bad decisions through emotion. There are times where I figure, okay, I'm gonna make this high investment into something, take the money I got, thinking, okay, once I make this investment, I'll see the profit or the return on investment immediately, and ran out of money, literally like trying to do marketing. So now I realize, okay, I have to be a little bit more strategic with how I maneuver based on my situation. It's all contextual. It's contextual to you, and this is something that we have to all look at, because there's many people who will give you the hype, will give you the motivation, right? But they're not making it contextual. They give you what I call general motivation that hits everybody. But after you take that, say, okay, that's cool, that's true, but how do I have to move and maneuver within my business so that I don't make any radical decisions that completely cause me to crash and burn? Yeah. Anyways, thanks for taking the time to watch this. Link below, subscribe, links below, right? Follow on social media. There's a playlist with interviews of different entrepreneurs that I basically interview, and what they're going through, their journey, their process, and lessons they've learned. So check those out as well. And there'll be a clothing line coming soon for the entrepreneur process. It won't really be this logo. This is my logo, but it'll be things to motivate you to go through your process.